Welcome to our new public affairs show, Morgantown Today. During this show, we'll bring you a behind-the-scenes look into the issues that matter most to you, our viewer. I'm your host, Zach Hawk.
And I'm Harley Benda. Each week we will tackle a different topic, and our guests on our show will be the decision makers who make an impact on the Morgantown community.
Morgantown Today will also address matters of public policy and interest, including topics on education, culture, and politics. This show is made possible through a partnership between the City of Morgantown and the WVU Reed College of Media.
Today, we'll be discussing the Mountain State's tourism industry, more specifically how the coronavirus has impacted tourism in and around Morgantown, and what the future holds for the tourism industry.
That's right, Harley, and get this. Last year, before COVID-19 hit, more than 65 million people came to West Virginia for vacation, which totaled over $4 billion in revenue.
And the tourism industry in the state also supports 45,000 jobs. And just 2 years ago, Morgantown tourists generated over $90 million in our own community.
However, the coronavirus has had a negative toll on those numbers. In the past 8 months, the leisure and hospitality industry in the state had a 53% job loss. But as businesses open back up, residents are hopeful that the economy will bounce back as well.
Joining us now in the studio to give us more information on how tourism in Morgantown and the surrounding area is being affected by COVID-19 is the CEO and President of Visit Mountaineer Country Convention and Visitors Bureau, Morgantown's official tourism organization, Susan Riddle. Thanks for joining us today, Mrs. Riddle.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Susan has worked with the Convention and Visitors Bureau since 2016 and is currently the treasurer of the Morgantown Area Partnership and president of the Greater Morgantown Area Arts Council. Under her leadership, Visit Mountaineer Country Convention and Visitors Bureau won the Morgantown Partnership's Nonprofit Organization of the Year Award in 2019 and the Preston County Chamber's Business of the Year Award in 2020. The CVB's budget is normally around $1.5 million a year, but that was before the pandemic. Susan, how much traffic and engagement to your website were you seeing prior to COVID-19? And how was tourism boosting the economy in our area before the pandemic?
Zach, our website is really our framework and the platform that we use in order to do the majority of our attraction and engagement with our locals as well as our visitors. Prior to COVID, we were poised to have the best year we've ever had, because last year we actually tracked and attracted more than 400,000 users to our website, as well as an additional 45,000 individuals engaged with our social platforms. So we were very well poised and planning on an excellent year.
Currently, you have 3 of your employees working for Visit Mountaineer Country CVB, and you had to take a 20% pay cut, and unfortunately, all other employees remain furloughed. How are you making sure that potential tourists are still getting information on events and tourism in the greater Morgantown area? Let's first talk about your website. That seemed like a wealth of knowledge for anyone considering a getaway to our state.
We actually represent Monongalia, Preston, and now Taylor counties. Because all of those municipalities work together within all of that area, we have been able over the years to invest heavily in the framework that we use to drive the majority of our traffic, which is our website. We also have the tremendous opportunity to work with our creative firm, which is Blaine Turner Advertising, and they're kind of our behind-the-scenes team that works on everything that comes through, and actually all of our search engine optimization, our content management, all those things on a daily basis. So Blaine Turner, although we were at one time down to just 1 employee at the CVB, Blaine Turner's the team, our creative team, that keeps our engagement rolling and keeps our website functioning, and not just functioning, but actually thriving and attracting new guests all the time.
So concerning advertising, I understand that your organization doesn't just market to people outside of the state. We're also looking in-state. There was recently a major piece of news. It was announced that Virgin Hyperloop Certification Facility is investing $500 million to build what could be the future of high-speed transportation in Tucker County. During all of this uncertainty, how will this impact the tourism economy in West Virginia?
We're in a position to capitalize in our Mountaineer Country region, specifically Morgantown, to capitalize on a lot of downstream activities and or guests and visitors. So often we function as kind of a hub and spoke. We have visitors that come to the area being an area which we can support not just a number of different high quality and various lodging facilities in and around Morgantown, but more importantly, our nightlife, our restaurants, our retailers, all those things, as well as additional destinations and things to do, are all things that a facility such as a Hyperloop over in not that far from here in Grant County and Tucker County will be something that these individuals will be coming through our community. So we will be providing things that those areas frankly don't have to offer, and people are seeking. So that's directly how our tourism entities and businesses here and municipalities and our location will directly benefit from that type of activity, just frankly right next door.
As of 2018, tourists visiting Morgantown generated $2.5 million for the area, but those numbers have declined because of the coronavirus. How long do you think it will take the city to rebound in a post-COVID landscape?
We have a much, much larger impact than $2 million when it comes to tourism. The state's reports for just Montague County alone was $192 million impact last year. So, you know, Morgantown is the vast majority of that. We have a tremendous impact on the community, and I really, you know, we are presenting to all of the audiences that we engage with, trying to answer the questions that they have to continue to encourage them to visit and to travel and come here to engage with us and produce that one more night, one more dollar for our local communities. We're doing that through our safety programs. We're doing that through our Pledge to Prevent. We have a commitment to safety that's for businesses, where we are connecting the dots between listening to what our visitors are seeking and then providing them the information, not just the resources and maps and guides and various and sundry, you know, videos and virtual tours and those types of things. But more importantly, these visitors need to understand that safety and security as it relates to the traveling that they do is as great a top of mind issue and an important issue for us and our tourism industry here locally as it is for them seeking to travel to our destination. And frankly, many of our facilities are doing the same types of treatments and procedures that they did prior to COVID. It's just that now people are more aware of what needs to be done. So therefore, anything that we can do to communicate between the services that our vendors and our localities and our destinations have available with the traveling public and engage and answer those questions, the better we are to set ourselves up for success in attracting those visitors back as fast as possible to have great experiences here in the greater Morgantown area.
Now that $192 million economic impact you mentioned is a staggering number. That's very great to hear, but it also does kind of put into perspective how the City of Morgantown has seen a 35% decline in hotel reservations. This is also meaning that the hotel tax revenue is down around $180,000 through the lodging tax. The work the CVB does generates an economic benefit to the city. Can you discuss what the lodging tax is and why it's so important for Morgantown?
Well, lodging tax is what primarily funds the majority of the tourism promotion industry through convention and visitors bureaus and destination marketing organizations such as Visit Mountaineer Country Convention and Visitors Bureau. The lodging tax is a user tax. So for anyone that stays in our destination and generates qualifying room revenue, for every $100, there is a $6 or 6% user tax that is added to their bill. That $6 or 6% of $100 is then collected by the lodging property. The lodging property then remits it to their local municipality, and the state statute requires that at least half of that, or $3 of the $6, is remitted to the local tourism organization in order to promote the destination, attract visitors, and attract conferences and meetings of a large volume of people. And that's what we do. It is extremely important that those dollars flow to us year to year. We never know what we're getting until we get it from the municipalities. So it's really a big challenge from a planning perspective on behalf of any tourism organization such as ours. We have to respond quickly when there's changes in income flow, such as what happened with COVID. And at the same time, we're still trying to position ourselves and the area in order to be ready to rebound as quickly as the market and the traveling public are interested and willing to do so.
Speaking of funding, Mrs. Riddle, can you explain exactly what Visit Mountaineer Country CVB does for the area, local businesses, potential visitors, and the tourism industry overall?
Well, we do a number of different things through the various and sundry programs that we have. As I've said, our website and our social media, we actually have a lot of digital promotion that we do. We're a sales organization, and so what do? We sell the destination. Our job is to promote and have programs that attract people and essentially scratch their itch. Once we find out what they're interested in, we provide that information to them. We also have a printed collateral that we distribute, and then also engage with our visitors in that manner, as well as locals. We have several programs that we've instituted because we do a tremendous amount of listening and asking questions to find out what people are really needing and what are they really seeking, so that we are providing the best product, because there's so many entities that are out there that are advertising to get the same visitors. All that white noise in the background, we have to have a voice that either drowns them out, which is difficult and expensive to do, or we need to have a voice that actually engages with them in the manner that they're seeking. So in addition to our platform that is constantly seeking to secure additional new visitors to our area, we also have programs that we've put in place to engage our locals, because nothing's better than having your own center of influence, your own individuals locally helping you to promote how great a place this is to eat, play, stay, and shop, and live. And so we have things such as our Mountaineer Deals program. That's a program that local businesses can actually participate in, and by being one of our partners, we use their information to promote them in our giveaways and connect the dots between our visiting public, our locals, and our businesses that are here locally. In addition, we have our Pledge to Prevent and our Commitment to Safety program. And maybe more importantly than anything, we have the use of a regionalized events calendar. So if you go to visitmountaineercountry.com, on our homepage, there's a lot of stuff going on. People are constantly seeking, what is there to do? What is there to do near me? One of the top searches, and that's where our search engine optimization has positioned us, that we're always one of those top websites that come up, and people use our resources continuously. And there in turn, we generate more leads, we engage with more people, we drive more traffic. So we are the champions for everything going on in our community, and just trying to promote our businesses and make them fit the needs, or make their connections with the visiting population that is looking for what they may have to offer, whether that's restaurants, retailers, outdoor recreation, whatever that may be. VisitMountaineerCountry.com is the place that we make those connections.
So you did mention, and it's good to hear, that your digital operations, while short-staffed, are still able to continue. And you also noted that safety is a top priority in really bringing tourism back. But overall, how would you summarize what this pandemic has done to the tourism industry, not only in our area, but in the whole state?
It has been a real challenge because, as you said earlier, the industry has suffered more than 50%. The industry is challenged with now finding how they move forward in a significantly reduced climate as far as activity goes. Our hotels never shut down. Our hotels were open through the worst of the pandemic because we are very, very, very fortunate. We sit logistically, or I guess geographically, in a very strategic location. The intersection between Interstate 79, which is a flyway from Canada to Florida, as well as has a tremendous amount of traffic, business traffic on a regular basis, as well as intersecting with Route 68, which takes us over to the East Coast. We are an easy drive with the vast majority of the population of the country. And one thing that has come out of this pandemic that is really well suited for the state as a whole, people now are seeking places where they can do self-guided activity, where they can be outside and not involved with a lot of crowds. They are looking for things that they can do independently and control their own environment. So West Virginia, which has often been referred to as the Grand Canyon on the East Coast, we have an abundance of divinely made outdoor experiences. You know, you can't make rivers, or if you do, it's awfully expensive and takes a lot of time. Rock climbing, trails, hunting and fishing and skiing, and all types of, even just historic trails, such as the Civil War Trail that winds through our destination. All of those things are things that we have to offer. So although the actual operators and some of the facilities are having to hit a major reset and trying to figure out exactly how they move forward, and some will close, some will not open. You've seen that all over the national news. Often, far too often, there's a lot of them that operate on a very, very thin margin, and those are the ones that won't survive. However, the best and the brightest of what we have to offer, you know, hospitality people are some pretty tough characters, and they're gonna dig deep. They're looking to do things differently. Everything, you know, the commitment to safety program with the way that they're demonstrating the PPE processes that are in place now and fogging of rooms. I mean, I think I said earlier in one of our discussions that if visitors knew anything about hotels that fogged their rooms before COVID, they would have thought something was wrong. Now they find fogging of rooms and knowing those procedures as a comfort to traveling to a destination. So as well as we are challenged in hitting reset and taking our hospitality industry off of pause, we are blessed to be here in a community that Morgantown as a destination, it's a destination not only within the state of West Virginia, but on the East Coast. And I know personally you can travel all over the world, and our Flying WV is a brand, is an image that is welcomed and identified all over the world. And we are a place that people want to come and visit. So we have a bright future rolling forward once the economy and the visiting population, traveling population, gets to a point where they are comfortable doing that again. And it is happening. It's slow, but it's happening.
Zach, it's no secret that WU football means big business for Morgantown and the Mountain State.
That's right, Harley. Last year, an economic impact study was done to uncover exactly how much money WVU athletic events bring to West Virginia, and the results were astonishing. The economic impact just to Monongalia County is almost $80 million per year.
And the majority of the money is coming from visitor and fan spending. Mrs. Riddle, now that the football games are permitting only 15,000 fans in the stadium as opposed to 60,000 fans, how will the CVB capitalize on promoting Morgantown businesses and events to those who attend these games and stay in Morgantown?
We've been a source of information for our visitors before COVID or after COVID, during football or after football. So our resources are still available. Primarily where we make the connections is through the digital footprint that we have through our website. People do searches while they're here in town, and we're ready, prepared, whether it be through Mountaineer deal discounts or whether it be through information that they're seeking. We track and trend all the traffic on a daily basis, and we know exactly what people are looking for, and then we adjust that messaging. So when we have fans that are coming back for football season or a particular game, you know, in the past we've used and assisted with the Goodwill City Ambassador Program, where we had individuals out there in the stadium, actually around the stadium, welcoming individuals that were from out of town and answering all their questions. That's not something that we can do actually this year because of the continued restrictions and the reduced attendance. But as soon as we are in a position that we get the green light from WVU, we will be ready and waiting with bated breath to get not only our information out to people digitally, but also to have that personal welcoming extended hand or elbow or fist bump, as we do now, with our Goodwill City ambassadors. And we're just waiting to hear from WVU and we'll be ready to provide those services on site again as soon as they say that they're ready to have us there.
So, Mrs. Riddle, it certainly sounds like your organization is involved heavily around WVU football. But how much does the tourism industry depend on WVU events, and not just football and basketball games, but student orientations, concerts, plays, and graduations?
Actually, Zach, our tourism industry is really the benefit of all the other things that happen more than just football. And we're thankful we have football, and as well as basketball and others. But we are here to provide services and information and glean engagement whenever we have the largest groups and frequent groups, the largest audiences that we can attract and work with. Honestly, I always tell people that WVU football is great, but people tend to come into town for a day, they do a few things and they leave. They don't stay as long as meeting attenders or recruiters or candidates that are being recruited, or conference attendees, whatever that may be. We are really fortunate to have a partner like WVU because we don't really cater or try and attract students. WVU does that for, obviously, student enrollment, but at the CVB, we actually are interested in engaging with the people that are here because the university is here. The university itself is such an economic driver for all the other things, the people that work here, the people that live here, the people that are building programs or designing new innovative systems or whatever that may be, the people that they know, their centers of influence, or the people they come in contact that are actually attracted to the area, that is the larger volume of individuals that we work with. I mean, this Friday, we're participating in a Discover WVU, which is a virtual recruiting event that we're doing a giveaway, and we're working with Admissions and Records and the Visitor Center here at WVU. So actually, our busiest time of the year is through the summertime when the students aren't here. That's when people are doing all types of conferences and meetings and recruiting and whatnot. So we actually gear up for the summertime being our busiest, and then through the months where we have more sports. Football's a great end of our busiest season, but it really rolls us into the time that we use to prepare for the next large group of individuals that will be here through, that starts with graduation, and from graduation all the way through to probably September is the largest volume of people that we have coming through our community. And then we're also very fortunate because the university's here, there's a lot of sports traveling that is done, not WVU sports, but people that come to the area because a university is here. So there's AAU, there's traveling baseball, softball, now swimming and diving, and a number of different groups that use the facilities that we have here in the community as a place to come and recreate, and it's an additional benefit that the university is here. So all these things work together to really position our destination here in the greater Morgantown area as a prime location for people to come and visit, as well as hopefully move here and become part of our wonderful community.
So obviously WVU brings lots of students and faculty here to stay as well, and Morgantown is consistently ranked as one of the best small towns to live in. How has the tourism industry impacted that status, and what plans do you have to entice people to still visit the Mountain State even during a pandemic when a lot of people are too scared to travel?
Well, I could talk about this one, answer this question for a long time, but I'll try and keep it brief. There is a halo effect that exists when from tourism promotion. So essentially, not only do we work with a number of different organizations, we work with the City of Morgantown, we work with the Morgantown Area Partnership, we work with the Economic Development Authority, I mean all these different, as well as facilities that are here, and municipalities and vendors. But we all work together in order to promote our destination and attract more individuals. And you know, for instance, there was a bid recently that we placed for a national organization to relocate their facility here. The partnership, the City of Morgantown, the actually Milan Park Foundation as well as Visit Mountaineer Country CVB all participated. I wrote the bid and it actually went out and it's in the process. Those kinds of things happen all the time. Because we work together, we're able to have things continue to improve and receive national recognition. Recently, the rail trail was added to the National Registry. That's a really big deal, and whenever we can get those types of recognitions, you can be certain that my all-star team at Visit Mountaineer Country, CVB, we use all those things in our messaging because it lends more credibility and it helps to give us more content to promote and engage with visitors.
On the CVB's website, there are resources with activities and events that people can still enjoy during COVID while maintaining social distancing. Earlier, you had mentioned where to cross between Interstate 79 and Interstate 68. One example from your website is guided scenic drives through the region. With access to Interstate 68 and 79, I'm sure we can get to many of these places. Could you talk a bit about what people would see during these drives and how it would lead to people spending money at a local business?
Sure. The Scenic Drives brochure and tours, we had started many years ago originally as a motorcycle guide because we have so many motorcycles that love to come and drive, especially at this time of the year in the beautiful fall colors, drive through all of our windy roads and back roads and enjoy the scenery. But we actually found that the brochure itself contains, I think it's 8 different scenic rides. You can go to all the covered bridges. You can go actually up to Pennsylvania, where the 9/11 site is up in southwestern PA. You can go down to Weston and do a historical tour. I mean, there's a number of them, and each one of these tours, people in their attempt to look for things to do independently, you can go ahead and pack a lunch, or you could go ahead and you can get your family in a car and it'll give you travel distance, travel time, and it actually suggests locations to stop along the way, and those locations often are our Mountaineer Deal partners. So we know that there are businesses, we seek out businesses throughout our region that are interested in working with us and helping us to wow our guests. And frankly, the Scenic Drives brochure that we have that is also digital, we have it being on our website. It's something that actually locals have taken as much advantage of as our visiting guests. And we've also done, because of the interest in downloadable materials as well as virtual experiences, right now we have, I think it's 30 different virtual experiences where you can go to a number of different locations on our site, and you may see a 360 interactive tour of a particular place. I know Dorsey's Knob is on there. You can actually go in and you see what you see up there at Dorsey's Knob. It's not the same as being there putting boots on the ground, so we really encourage people to go out and take advantage of some of the scenic tours that we have. We also have one that we've recently added, historic downtown walking tour. That's something that's new. That actually it's an old brochure, but we've newly added it to our website, and it provides a map, history. There's an audio as well as visual, and you can pull it up on your portable device, whatever that may be, and actually take a tour of your own accord, on your own timetable. And all the businesses in the downtown are right there at your disposal, whether it's lunch, shopping, whatever that may be. We try and intermingle any tours that we have and highlight whatever those businesses may be, because at the end of the day, the local communities really benefit by the tourists and the things that our locals are doing when they frequent the businesses along the routes. So we try and make those connections wherever we can to benefit our local communities as much as possible.
As you stated earlier, West Virginia is known for its scenic mountain beauty. In fact, nearly 80% of the state is covered by forests. Recently, West Virginia Tourism Commissioner Chelsea Ruby said that the state is having one of the best fall color seasons in several years. How is the CVB capitalizing on this mecca of fall foliage?
Well, we do a lot of posts. We participate with the state program that they do as far as their their fall foliage maps that they update and whatnot. But we really support it heavily through our social media. The close to 45,000 individual users that we have through all our platforms. We share that updated information, and really what we're trying to do, and the state's done a fabulous job of doing this over the last several years, when you need to keep your information out in front of people. They call it wanderlust, which is an odd term to many, but it's essentially trying to get people to be wondering what it would like to go ahead and actually personally experience these things firsthand. So if you're living over in Northern Virginia or over in DC or up in New York or Pennsylvania, and you see all these wonderful images of all the beautiful fall scenery that we have, people are looking to get in their car and take a drive. So they may actually, come down through our area, and we do that. We keep those ideas and those thoughts and try and engage them and attract them by placing these images throughout all of the material that we have. In addition, we do a lot of giveaways to promote engagement with our target audiences. Right now, we're running the most successful giveaway we've ever run in the history of the CVB, and it's a getaway weekend. And it shows a cabin, because we know, based on the research and the data that we track and trend, that is what people are looking for. They want to see these outdoor spaces. So we use a lot of this imagery ourselves in everything we do. And then we also have the benefit of, actually on the bottom of our homepage, if you go to that and you scroll down, we have a platform that we use that promotes and attracts individual user-generated content. So everyone walks around with a cell phone, and everybody likes to take selfies. They are interested in, they can take these photos, they can actually post them with the appropriate hashtag, and then they kind of get their moment of fame. They get listed on our site, on our homepage, and those things rotate. So we're getting a lot of engagement from various audiences that we target and that we attempt to engage with, and we get that engagement in the form of their own personal photos. We've actually gone ahead, by gaining the proper permission from these individuals, we've actually used some of these individual photos in some of our advertising. So it's really exciting, where you're able to take a lot of different content, a lot of different resources, a lot of different video and digital resources, and really set it up to attract those individuals and provide them what they need when they are looking for it. It's that just-in-time attraction and engagement that we are seeking in order to convert them to that one more night, one more dollar.
I also think it's important to mention the virtual tours you're offering, Mrs. Riddle. So if someone is immunocompromised and cannot leave their homes right now, they could still feel like they're able to escape. Could you explain the goal of these virtual tours, and have you received any feedback from these tours? Like visitors feeling drawn to our area once this pandemic is over? Because let's face it, this is not going to last forever.
We have several virtual tours, specifically we have parks. I know we have different locations where when you actually get on the video content, the tour itself, you can feel as if you're walking through the facility, whether it would be Cathedral State Park, Cooper's Rock State Park. So it's really just a teaser. It's something that helps to encourage individuals to keep our Mountaineer country, greater Morgantown area top of mind for these individuals when they are ready to come back and start traveling again.
So during the state shutdown because of COVID-19, businesses all over the state do not have tours for activities like whitewater rafting, zip lining, or hiking in over 2 months. Parks and restaurants also felt the financial blow. Now that businesses are opening back up, what marketing or advertising strategies are you using to entice tourists to travel here and feel safe at the same time?
We use our platforms, all of our platforms, to promote the giveaways that we do on a regular basis. And those giveaways are packaged based on what people are actually seeking and searching, what keywords are tracking and trending. On any given day, we actually look at this information on a daily basis. I have about close to a 20-page dashboard on my computer that I can look up each page, every blog that we have, what information are people actually seeking. And then based on what that information that I receive is, we actually take that and put together programs such as giveaways that help to actually provide that information and spark that fire of excitement that people are looking for, because providing that just-in-time information is so key, because there's so many millions of advertisements that people see every day, whether it be on your phone, video, text. It doesn't make a difference. We're just all inundated with opportunities to spend that extracurricular activity dollar. So we try and make sure that we get all of those resources that identify us the best possible way for us to utilize what promotions that we do, whether they be print or they are digital. We regularly have a lot of success with a publication that's actually over in the greater Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area. That's a huge population in that geographical location that is frequently seeking on a weekend drive to come over to our area. So it is something that we're always maximizing all of our resources to make sure that we maintain the highest return on investment, because we really, really take very seriously the responsibility of maximizing every dollar that we spend, and we must get results. So that's why we track so much data and make our decisions based on research and based on industry trends and current conditions in the visitor industry, as well as tourism industry as a whole.
There are a lot of experts who say that one of the safest places to be during this pandemic is outdoors. I'm assuming that is where West Virginia has a huge advantage with so many natural resources.
Studies show that the Outdoor Industry Association has seen an increased participation in outdoor activities, like hunting and camping. Can you explain how the natural beauty of our state is a huge draw for tourists, and how that can help reinvigorate our economy? I'm thinking particularly of a recent donation to WVU's Outdoor Center.
We've worked with WVU's Outdoor Recreation Center, as well as the local community, Morgantown Area Partnership, and we will continue to do so. We already have the framework that provides the vehicle to provide this information in the forms of maps, trail maps, river maps, trail maps, whatever that may be, water activities, hiking, biking, Mountaineer Trail Network is another initiative that we've worked with. So we really take all of these various parties and work together in order to provide that information. One of the things that we did not too awfully long ago, we had a giveaway that we did where people could actually select what they wanted. Did they want a mountain biking package? Did they want a kayaking package? Or did they want a camping package? And they could actually select their own. So we actually were able to engage with more than one specific audience at one time. And in turn, we buy all of those items from our Mountaineer Deal partners. And those Mountaineer Deal partners, frankly, were sold out. We had difficulty when trying to get bicycles, because the winner wanted the mountain bike package. And so in turn, then we take their feedback and we use that through our social platform. So we are blessed to actually have, within a 1-hour drive of Morgantown, more hiking, biking, rock climbing, water activities, all those types of outdoor recreation activities than what's comparable in Boulder, Colorado, or what's comparable in Asheville, North Carolina. We will be working into 2021 and beyond, not only with our local communities, but also with the state, to best present and promote what resources we have, connect the dots for our visitors so that they are here and they know what we have that is so awesome to come and experience. And ultimately, the goal of our local community is really to increase the size of our population. And by doing all those things, the local communities end up benefiting more through more resources and so on. So that's really kind of an overall view of how we, the complete package of how the tourism economy actually benefits locals, the region, and ultimately the state through outdoor recreation.
So those are certainly a lot of activities within 1 hour of Morgantown, and those are also very nice comparisons to other travel destination cities. It sounds like West Virginia may be in a better position than many areas of the country because of all of our outdoor space. And the West Virginia tourism industry has outpaced the national growth by 58% last year. Are you optimistic about an economic bounce back in the tourism industry post-COVID, and could you explain why?
Tourism is the hot topic. It is really the future of West Virginia in many regards. We have individuals that come to our area. We need to have the resources and the inventory, whether it be lodging, whether it be restaurants, whether it be outdoor recreation, the supplies. I mean, I know recently one of the vendors, local businesses that is here, has now been outpacing the rest of the nation as it relates to the sales of the types of items that they supply to the kayaking industry, rock climbing, biking, all that sort of thing. So I really do believe that tourism is going to be a big part of the future of West Virginia. And we have many, many, many areas throughout the state and the region working together to pool and leverage all of our resources to cast a larger net and attract more individuals, which will ultimately lead to individuals being able to work from home and wanting to come and live here, which is very much in line with what we've experienced with COVID. They're thinking outside the box. They want to be in a safe place where they can go out and recreate, take their dogs for walks, and go out to some of the local parks. White Park, for example, the trails that are at White Park for the local community to go ahead and use. Our quality of life here is really impressive. And it's our job to help work with the partners that we do throughout the community to help tell that story in the best way possible so that we can actually promote, engage, and attract and secure individuals to actually come and learn what we already know, that this is a great place to eat, play, stay, and live.
So speaking of things to do, there are exactly 102 things to do in the greater Morgantown area listed on your website, such as exploring the WVU Core Arboretum. What are some other great things to do during this pandemic while safely social distancing?
The 102 things to do that we have as a guide on our website was actually established many years ago, and they're all free things to do. So they're not things that, it's kind of like if you're living like a local, here's all the things you would have done. You might take a popular destination is going to Cooper's Rock. I mean, this is the time of year that it is amazing, no matter when you go up there, to see what there is at the Overlook, or even the hiking trails that are up there. Not everybody knows WVU has a planetarium. The art scene in the greater Morgantown area is pretty impressive. We actually even have farm crawls that we have, where we have local farms throughout all of Mountaineer country that will welcome guests, whether it be the alpaca farm that's over in our neighboring Preston County, or whether it's all the different farms that are here in Montague County, which you can see at the farmers market on Saturday mornings in downtown Morgantown. There's also now a farmers market over in Star City on Friday night. So there's a number of things that people can do, and actually our events calendar, if you search things to do near me, our events calendar comes up, and we encourage everyone. It's not just tourism events, they're not ticketed events, they are all types of events. So as the holidays come around, we're gonna have all the Halloween events that are all, most of them have been modified in some fashion to accommodate COVID requirements. So there may be trunk or treats where people can drive up and they receive something versus going knocking door to door. And I think we'll continue to see that all the way through the holidays, as the seasons progress. Christmas and the change of the new year, there's decorations to see. You can do that in your car. So there's really, we encourage everyone to use our visitmountaineercountry.com, our event calendar that we have and we house. Submit your events. Anything that comes up, we have a few family-friendly requirements, of course, but just about anything that gets submitted gets posted, and we promote throughout the entire region. There's a Christmas light up tour that's actually down at Prickett's Fort. And I know a lot of locals here in Morgantown frequent those types of things and look forward to them through the holidays. So there are a tremendous number of things to do where you don't have to spend a dime. You can just go out and experience the wonderful place that we have here in Mountaineer Country in the Morgantown area.
Well, Mrs. Riddle, I'll be honest, I had no idea that you could visit an alpaca farm, and that certainly sounds like an interesting afternoon. But the greater Morgantown area also hosts a lot of other events that are very popular and outdoors. For instance, the West Virginia Wine and Jazz Festival or the Preston County Buckwheat Festival. However, because of the coronavirus, a lot of these events have had to be canceled. You did mention that things like Trick or Treat are still coming up. There'll still be Christmas time light shows. Are there any other events that might traditionally be associated with crowd gatherings that you're interested in finding a safe way to proceed with?
Actually, we have a lot of individuals throughout the community that regularly work on attracting and hosting events. I know that we have several events that have been going on in and around the greater Morgantown area. Most of them are the larger events, because of the state guidelines, have all more or less been put on pause. And most of the planning at this stage of the game is going on for 2021. And right now, I think my list that I had on my desk as of yesterday, there's 11 or 12 significant events that would be attracting, outside of football games, outside of WVU major events, but just community things that would be attracting thousands of visitors once the COVID restrictions have been lifted. Our biggest concern is we want to make sure that when we are attracting individuals, we are always doing it with the safety of our guests as a primary concern, as well as the safety of our community and the safety of our individual hospitality partners. So it is a balancing act. What we become aware of, because so many of these various events are modifying what they've done. Some of them are doing it virtually, which is, it's not what we've been accustomed to. I mean, when you have a party, a virtual party that in the past was all done face-to-face, there are accommodations, and there's even been fundraisers that have been done virtually that get posted on our website. So we do our best to keep everyone aware of whatever resources that we're made aware of by people submitting to us. 2021, things will be improving consistently. And just WVU's lead in the tremendous work that they've done trying to continue to keep the big picture moving ahead and keep people engaged, because going completely virtual is not the answer. We will see events come on board that are smaller, that are in larger spaces using outdoor, much larger locations than what they've done before. But when you're talking event planning, it is a challenge because it's expensive, it tends to be risky, and weather is always a factor if you don't have a large enough outdoor space. So I think we will be very well suited and well prepared getting back to traditional events coming spring of 2021. But for the time being, the events that we continue to post are all seem to be some type of modification if they're able to hold their events under the state guidelines.
It's understandable that we see those modifications with the current state of the global pandemic. But so today we've talked a lot about the outdoor adventure activities that are great for this time of year, fall in particular. But soon here, these cool nights will become downright frigid and we'll start seeing snows. To the north, east, and south of us, there are great skiing opportunities. Does your organization work at all with any nearby mountains to try to promote more winter adventure activities?
We do. There are activities, that our local community offers, whether it be at Chestnut Ridge Park or even down at Tigert Lake Park. But as far as more traditional skiing activities, we have a lot of people that will go over into southwestern Maryland. We'll have people that go up into southwestern Pennsylvania. And frankly, we work with anyone that has resources that is something that we can help to drive traffic to our destination. Because, often, like I said before, a hub and spoke model works. People come, they stay here. just like locals that are already here, they're looking for things to do. So wherever we can provide activities or itineraries or tours to those individuals that are here that are seeking a particular type of experience, whether it is warm weather, fall weather, winter weather, whatever that may be, we do go ahead and we try and make those connections and share those activities to give them a more positive experience and a great experience when they're here visiting us in the greater Morgantown area.
Mrs. Riddle, you said in a New York Times article that you are optimistic about tourism and life returning to normal after COVID-19. Can you explain to our viewers why you are hopeful for our future state's economy as it relates to the tourism industry?
West Virginia, and specifically Mountaineer country, is positioned geographically and just with the natural beauty and the efforts and investments that have been made throughout the tourism industry statewide as well as here locally. You know, we've had new hotels that have actually opened through this pandemic, believe it or not. We've had new destinations that had just started actually opening as this all started and are still operating. We have actually I received an email yesterday, an event that's confirming to come here, a national or a regional AAU competition coming to the area that will drive thousands of individuals. So with all of the resources that we have, the location that we have, the community partners that we have, be it WVU, Mylan Pharmaceutical, NIOSH, the school system, I mean, we really truly have a dynamic group of individuals that are engaged in our community. And whether you're coming here for the arts, I mean, in downtown Morgantown alone, the critical mass, what they have to service the arts, you've got the Met Theater, you've got the newly renovated Hazel Ruby McQueen Riverfront Park and Amphitheater. We have the historic Morgantown Museum. We also have the Morgantown Arts Center. I mean, there are a number of, as well as the historic downtown walking tour and resources there. WVU's planetarium's just right up the street. The number of things that we have to engage with people is enormous. I've lived here for more than 40 years, and there is not a week that goes by, and I feel I'm a pretty plugged-in individual into the community. There is not a week that goes by that I do not find out about something that I did not know that existed here. And so there's a plethora of things for people to do and things to experience, whether it be art, history, outdoors, sports, whatever that may be. And people often, whether it be our Canadian travelers that are going from Canada down to Florida, this is a great stopping point. We are exceedingly hospitable. That's our secret sauce, as my team likes to call it, for our community and West Virginians as a whole. We are a very hospitable people and culture, and we make people feel welcome and help to have that positive, great Mountaineer experience that really causes people to want to come back again and again.
So I think it's so important to be hopeful during these stressful times, and it's extraordinarily heartening to hear that between local businesses continuing to open and events still being planned and a rosier outlook for spring 2021. Mrs. Riddle, thank you for your positive insight and outlook on our state's future.
Thank you very much.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Morgantown Today. I'd like to once again thank our guest, President and CEO of Visit Mountaineer Country Convention and Visitors Bureau, Susan Riddle. I'm Harley Benda.
And I'm Zach Hawk. For more information on events and things to do in the Mountain State while being safe and maintaining social distancing, check out the link at the bottom of your screen.
This show is made possible through a partnership between the City of Morgantown and the WVU Reed College of Media. It's taped at the WVU Waterfront TV studio. Thanks for joining us here on Morgantown Today.